Hello, I'd like to talk to all of you who have been involved in the Sexual Integrity Mentor Training course and are wondering how to get started, maybe a little bit nervous about how to dive in, and also feeling kind of a lack of confidence, not really knowing how do I transition into this, don't want to promise too much. Okay, so I'd like to suggest some ways of getting your toe into the water and kind of going at the right pace for you. First of all, I suggest you become an accountability partner, that you either offer your services on the website and put up a bio and a profile and a photo and offer your services there to start, or offer your services to people you know, especially young people you know, offer to become an accountability partner for them. And then, one way or another, get some people. Get one or two people. Once you've done that, you're basically going to have them sign up for Covenant Eyes, and then put your name, your email address, as the one receiving the reports. Okay? So you recruit somebody to be their accountability partner. You ask them, and what that means specifically in most cases is that they would put your name on Covenant Eyes as the one to receive the reports about their online browsing activities. So officially you two have an arrangement, okay, at that point. Then you can also consider asking them other ways to hold them accountable. Perhaps they can email you every day, like Kevin Thompson has his people do, saying yay or nay, giving a report. I'm good today, or I have a problem today. I slipped up in my habit. That's another possibility. They could maybe opt to read some spiritual scripture, some sort of writings, perhaps Father's autobiography, and then maybe they could send you a daily reflection on what they read. You can look at all the different possibilities in Lesson 11 in the Accountability Partner Training course, where I talk about the various options you might want to use. But in any case, you can become officially an accountability partner to this person, ask them what else they'd like you to help them do to hold them accountable, and then once you've got that thing going, you're started. You can kind of see what happens. At some point in that relationship, if they seem like they want more, or it doesn't seem to be enough, or you want to offer them something, you can ask them to meet with you once a week in a video conference call. Maybe perhaps Zoom or something, or Skype, and you're gradually easing into a kind of a mentoring relationship. In that group or in that meeting, and you could then recruit other people that you may have found that you could ask others to join in, or that person may ask their friends to join in. But the idea is that during that weekly meeting, you could ask everyone to check in on their week. Perhaps here you could introduce a check-in form of various lengths. The official check-in form used by Bravehearts could be a kind of a template, and you could remove things from that or whatever. But at some point you could ask them to, at some point either write it first, or after you've let them do it informally, you could introduce the idea of a formal check-in. And so the meeting would be for them to talk about their week and their temptations and their habit and so on and so forth. And that can comprise the meeting and let people just talk and bond. After you've done that for a while, then you could introduce the idea of, let's watch this video, and you show them something from Covenant Eyes, something from Fight the New Drug, or something that we can provide through our mentoring library. You'd offer them some sort of a video, and you can prepare some questions in advance. You could maybe stop at some point and get them to reflect on what they heard. You could ask an interesting question, and then you could watch a video together, and that will add some information, some nourishment to the meeting. So that's a very simple way of easing in. After a while, then you could simply expand the program so that this weekly meeting is more of an official mentoring call where you are pursuing the faithful and true curriculum and going through that step by step. Or perhaps you've all decided to adopt another book that you find interesting and you can read that together. Or perhaps you could even start with some lengthy article and read that for several weeks. But the idea is you can simply expand as an accountability partner to some sort of phone call or just email exchanges, and then expand that to a face-to-face on Zoom. As soon as there's another person, that becomes a group accountability, accountability partner group, rather than just a one-on-one. And then you can gradually ease from brief informal check-ins to ones that they fill out in advance that you would send out to them, give them an official form. They would answer those questions, read them during the meeting, share them during the meeting, and then you can progress from there to watching an informative video, reading something in advance and then talking about it, reading a book together, reading articles together. The point is that you can gradually have a recovery-centered discussion and people can share their personal reflections, their personal experiences led by you about whatever you're reading. So it becomes a nourishing and bonding experience for them. My experience with this is that people are often so happy to finally reveal themselves to somebody else and talk honestly about their struggles and their background, and they're delighted to have other people join in, and these become friends of theirs. And so also you can encourage the folks you're holding accountable to make their own horizontal connection, to contact each other during the week and get to know one another. And then before you know it, this is officially a mentoring thing that you're doing. So you can do that at the speed of your person, at your own speed of time and commitment and confidence. But this is a very simple way to progress forward. May I also suggest that you can do these things in time-limited increments. In other words, you could suggest to your accountability person, why don't we meet together for 40 days, for 6 weeks, or for 3 weeks, and see, face-to-face on Zoom, and see how you like that. And then from there, you invite people in, and then at some point, you can introduce some sort of a collective agreement. Well, why don't we do this for a limited period of time, 40 days or something? And that way, it's small commitments on their part and your part, and you can try out a format during that 40 days or during that 21 days. Try out a certain format, and then you can keep on expanding it. But one of the things we're realizing in our mentoring work is that it's good for us to develop a 90-day plan with everybody, like a 90-day contract. During these 90 days, we're going to do this. And maybe they can set certain goals during that 90 days. We're going to I'm going to do a stretch or something like that. But during those 90-day periods, it allows everyone to make that new determination and have a sense of where they're going. And again, it could just be 40 days. But the idea there is that you have a contract. We're going to be together for 90 days. At the end of that, they can, you can advise them. You can introduce new challenges for them. You can acknowledge to them, your involvement has been so sporadic, I don't really think that it's fair to the other people. Perhaps you should take a break until you feel like you want to do this. All these things, the point is if you do it in 90-day periods, then the commitments are clear, and then you can readjust the commitments at these juncture points. At some point soon, when you enter in a more of an official mentoring capacity, you would introduce the idea of them making a donation. Please donate, $25 to PureMind.online or highnoonliving.org. But the idea at some point that you could ask them to make a donation to the organization as a kind of sign of commitment. It's a way of getting them more bonded. It's for their sake. You just explained it. It's for their sake. that it gets them more serious. It makes them feel like they're more invested. And it also helps to raise money for us to do the things we need to do. So these are all suggestions of how I hope that my treating everything as an option and being so tentative or making it feel like it's an endless menu of options, I hope it doesn't cause you stress, but I want to show you the flexibility that is available to you for you to enter in this process at your own rate and at the rate of the people you're working with. At any point, of course, you can make things more formal, you can simplify, you can gel what it is you want to do and don't want to do, but you can try these things as you go along. Of course, you can contact me or the person that you might be in a trinity with and ask questions about this and get advice. But we really want to make this as easy as possible for you. Just to conclude, I do ask that you would submit yourself to be possibly a public accountability partner, because we need them on the site. There are many people who don't have anyone they feel comfortable with asking. And it would make our organization look fuller, it would expand our services, it would get you involved. And you can always, if you post yourself on the site, at some point if you feel a bit overwhelmed, you can always ask us to remove you, or you can always decline yourself when someone contacts you and just say, I'm a little bit maxed out right now, please ask somebody else. The point is, if you could offer yourself with an official bio and photo, it would help us, it would get you started, and it would give hope and some path for those strugglers out there who don't know where to turn. Thank you.